Sometimes you may want to hide certain columns, not delete them, just not make them visible on the screen, or hide certain rows. And you can actually do that quite easily in Excel. So let's assume I wanted to hide this years of employment column. I simply click on the whole column on the D itself to select the whole column. I right click on it and I say hide. Now what you'll notice, this hasn't deleted the column. It's still there. Formulas that are referring to that column will still continue to work. And you can see that here it jumps from C to E. So somebody going there wouldn't actually know that there's something hidden, except that if you look between the C and the E, you'll see as a slight double line as opposed to the normal single line. So that's really the sort of one giveaway. And obviously if you're reading through the letters, you'll notice that it's supposed to be C, D, and E, but yet, D is effectively missing, which basically means that it's hidden, right? So hidden, it'll still work as normal. It's just not viewable when somebody looks at it. And sometimes if you're distributing a spreadsheet to other people and you want to hide certain of your workings in a column or in rows as well, as I'll show you shortly, you can just hide it, and they then can't really see those columns or rows. You can also hide more than one column. So if I click and say I highlighted both F and G, so I clicked and dragged to select both of them. If I right click and say hide, it will hide both of those columns. You can also use the control feature to select columns that are not next to each other. So let's say, for example, I wanted to hide column I, and now if I keep my control key in and I select K, both of those are now selected. And if I right click on either one of them where it's basically highlighted, I can also choose the hide option, and you can see that's hide. So both column I and column K are hidden. You can see there's a double line here for I, which goes from H to J, it's missing, and then between J and L, that's also missing. Now to unhide a column, what you do is you highlight both the columns on either side of the hidden column. So let's say I wanted to unhide column K, so I highlight J and L, and then I just right click and I select the unhide option over there. Now it will unhide anything between those two columns. If let's say I wanted to unhide all of these, I just highlight right through all of them. So you can see there's a hidden column here, there's a hidden column here, but because we're selecting the first and the last, everything between column C and column L will be unhidden. So if I right click now, you'll see it'll unhide all of them, and now you can see it's unhidden. So now they're all there, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and so forth, right? The same also applies to rows. So I could also, highlight a few rows like that, and then I can right click on them after selecting them and select hide, and you can see between 5 and 10 now, it's basically hidden because it jumps from 5 to 10, but somebody scrolling through is not going to notice it unless they actually pick up that little double line over there between the 5 and the 10. And if I actually go into it, you'll see it turns into a different type of a double arrow, and if I click and drag, you can actually unhide it that way. I would normally recommend the other method of unhiding it, which is to highlight the cells, the rows on either side of the hidden row, select row 5 and 10, and then right click and then select unhide. One final thing I want to show you is you may sometimes receive a file that has hidden columns, and you wouldn't know necessarily where the hidden columns are. So let's just hide a few here to show you how, if you receive a file with hidden columns, how you can actually find out where those hidden columns are. So what you do is you press the F5 key on your keyboard, right? That brings this go to dialog box will come up. You click on special over here, and then you click on visible cells only. Right, so you see this visible cells only, and if you say okay, now you can very clearly see those lines. So these lines here, you can see this line here indicates that there's hidden rows here, and between the B and the F, you can see there's hidden columns here. So looking at these lines, you'll easily be able to pick up where the hidden rows and columns are. The other shortcut key you could use is if you keep your Alt key in with your semicolon, right? If I keep the Alt key in and I press my semicolon, it does exactly the same. It's a shortcut for that, and it immediately will be able to select the whole sheet, but in that selection you'll be able to see where the hidden rows and columns are.